Hello people of the internet, it's Amanda, and recently on my Facebook page I posted my Inuyasha live action fan cast with some of my favorite actors and actresses, and people seem to really like it, so I figured I'm gonna make a video here as well. About this is I've already thought about it even before the whole Yashahime thing was announced. If you don't know what I'm talking about, basically Inuyasha is announced to have a sequel. More details on that on my other video. Anyways, what really urged me to create this one is a certain photo of Arata Mackenyu that I've seen on Instagram. I will be discussing more of that later. But because the whole Yashahime thing happened, I figured that is the sign that I just have to go for it and just do it. Similar to what I did with my Hanadan 2020 recast / fancast recently. That said, I'm just gonna get down to it and show you my Inuyasha live action fancast. Now, first up is the titular character and of course this leading lady, Inuyasha and Kagome, and for some reason, the only couple that popped into my head because of this is Suda Masaki and Komatsu. Now, it's no secret that I ship these two, especially after I've seen Drowning Love and then they have another movie coming up, so I just love their chemistry, their dynamic, and I do feel like they can definitely fit the parts of Inuyasha and Kagome respectively. And we've already proven that Suda can really rock pale hair, so that's definitely a plus in my book. The thing is, obviously, Nana also has to play Kikyo, which I feel like she can definitely pull off, mainly because we've already seen her play very calm, very collected, very mysterious types of characters, and then at the same time flip that coin and be just very fun and I don't know, just a very shoujo-ish type of character, which fits the duality of both Kagome and Kikyo respectively. And I don't know, like just the chemistry of these two is off the charts, at least for me, and that's why I didn't really think of two different actors separately when I was thinking of the pairings and just have them bunched together. So they are definitely my Kagome Inuyasha, Kikyo Inuyasha pairing for this fan casting. On to the other characters. So for our Playboy Miroku, all I could ever think of is Nakagawa Taishi. It's no secret here on my channel that I absolutely love him and his range, and I feel like he can definitely play this role in a way that Miroku can sometimes be very just playful, very funny, and obviously the playboy that we know of, but at the same time he also has to have this intensity, this ability to show like really raw and pained emotions given his curse, and I feel like Taishi can definitely give justice to that particular dynamic. Plus, I also chose this particular picture to just show how much he has the aesthetics on point. Moving on to Sango, Yoshikawa Ai is the first person that came into my mind, mainly because I've seen her in many dynamic roles, whether it be drama, comedy, even thrillers, and she just does the role very well. And I do feel like with Sango, she is someone who is feisty, who is brave, but also has like vulnerable sides to her, and it has to be someone who can really encapsulate that entire thing. I do feel like Yoshikawa Ai is perfect for that role, and at the same time, with Suda and Nana being the two main leads, the second couple should also have that same charm and strength to them. Moving on to the fifth person of their squad, Shippo. Now, Shippo is one of my favorite characters ever. I remember I'm so obsessed with Inuyasha to the point that I nicknamed my younger brother Shippo just so I can relive my Kagome dreams back when I was 9 years old. But it's just kind of like it was initially hard to find someone who can definitely portray that adorable yet very feisty type of young character. Then I remembered Nakagawa Chubasa from Bokodake ga Inaimachi, the movie version, and I absolutely loved his portrayal of Fujinuma Satoru, the younger Fujinuma Satoru, and he definitely played the role with such like finesse. Like it's a very complex type of plot, and the character is also complex because he has adult thoughts but he's back in his younger body, and it's just a very complex narrative, but he was able to express that particular role. And I do feel like with Shippo we need someone like that as well, to really play well with the other characters that I've chosen earlier. And at the same time, I do feel like we can't really go really young in this dynamic. So even if he's 14 years old, I do feel like he is definitely perfect for the role of Shippo. Next up is Kaide, and I chose Matsubara Chieko for this particular role, mainly because I've seen most of her works, and even if they're mostly melodramas, at least for the recent ones, definitely, have portray that very gentle side of Kaide whenever Kikyo's in the picture, and then at the same time be very like strict and very commanding when the other characters are just simply asking for it. So definitely Matsubara Chieko for Kaide. When it comes to Sesshomaru, our beloved Seshi, I actually had two actors in mind, but I decided to go with my first choice, which is Okada Masaki. I feel like it's his role as Katsura in Gintama that really convinced me to do this. But initially I was thinking of Yoshizawa Ryo because he pulls off that murder glare very perfectly, which is very Sesshomaru-like. I feel like Okada Masaki can definitely have that towering presence, both literally and figuratively, that the character of Sesshomaru must have in able to pull the role off. And I don't know, I just felt like, I mean, he already pulled off the long hair and the kimono, so he can definitely play the role of Sesshomaru with such perfection. I'm just sold on that idea. For Jaqen, this is a very funny choice because initially I wasn't really planning on casting anyone for Jaqen, but then I remembered how amused I was when I found out that Ninomiya Kazunari was the one who voiced Koro Sensei in the Assassination Classroom live action film, and I figured I just have to put him here. If ever a live action series or movie is gonna happen and it's such a star-studded cast, might as well cast someone who's also on the same caliber with the rest of the characters to voice Jaqen. And I don't know, for some reason I just pictured him there using it's just a fun prospect for me, and I do feel like it's such a funny choice, and it's also an amusing choice, especially for fans of Nino-san and Arashi in general, to have them in this particular role because it's just so fun and quirky. For Rin, I chose Kakihara Rinka, who I've also seen in Bokodake ga Inai Machi, but the Netflix version, and also in Close Knit with Ikuta Toma. I've seen her acting, and even at such a young age, she can really pull off like really dramatic or very dramatic roles. So I do feel like she can play really well as Rin, who can be, I don't know, very oblivious, very innocent at one point, and just very brazen and another. And I don't know, like when I was thinking of who to cast for Rin, she's definitely one of my top candidates, and I eventually just went with her simply because of her portfolio as well. And I don't know, I just love the projects that she's been in, and I do feel like she can give the role such justice. So I just went with her. Next up is Totosai, and I just had one choice for this, mainly because I love him so much, Takito Kenichi. Now, I don't know about you, but I've seen him in roles that he's a policeman, he is a billionaire, he's again a policeman, a detective, and he can play roles in comedy and drama, he's just such a versatile actor that can make you laugh in one series and make you annoyed in another one. And I just feel like we have to have that someone in the role of Totosai because he plays such a huge role in the narrative of Inuyasha, despite the fact that he's just a recurring character. Plus, aesthetic-wise, I mean, if we just downsize or de-exaggerate Totosai's bulging eyes, I feel like Takito Kenichi can definitely pull it off perfectly. So he's my only choice for this one. And I just had to include Totosai just so I can include him. For the role of Koga, again another recurring character that I just added into the mix, I felt like having that contrast of a love triangle with Inuyasha made the series really fun, and it has to be someone who can play both a rough, rugged type of character, but also that type of hopeless, romantic type of person. And I do feel like when it comes to fan casts like this, you have to go with someone who would have an impact if they were to make a cameo in the series. And I definitely went for Fukushi Sota for that one. He is someone who is already very familiar with the whole live action genre, and even if he's not in the main role for this one, having him as Koga to just jump in at one episode or something like that would definitely be really, really good for the series. And I don't know, I just picture him playing this role really well, that it would leave an impression even with a limited screen time. Now down to my second to the last character, I chose Ikeda Eliza for the role of Kagura. Now there are other characters that are recurring that I could have casted, but I chose Kagura for two reasons. One, I ship her so much with Sesshomaru, it's just insane. So I just have to have a cast thing for her, and at the same time, for some reason, even if she's diabolical, even if she's convoluted as a character, I just loved rooting for her while I was watching the series, especially in the final act. And I don't know, like, but I think it's really mainly because I ship her with Sesshomaru so hard that's why her character like really spoke to me so much. And so I figured that Eliza Ikeda definitely played roles before where it's convoluted, it's not a person that you should sort of like root for, but you sort of just feel compelled to. And I feel like that's what Kagura's character is like. And plus with this particular picture that I found, I felt like that's just Kagura, there's no mistake. Why hasn't this happened yet? For my last fan cast, Arata Mackenyu as Naraku. Now, when I saw this picture on Instagram, this was what urged me to create this entire thing in the first place. I don't know why. I mean, from the hair to the makeup to even the garment, like the violet garment that he was wearing, it was speaking Naraku in all different angles that I just had to go for it. And I felt like, I mean, initially in Chihaya Furu, I wasn't impressed with this acting in the first movie, and it was understandable considering that that was his pilot project as an actor in Japan. But when I saw him in Todome no Kiss and then the trailer for Rurouni Kenshin and his other projects, that's when I realized that he definitely does villains justice because of that certain look on his face that could really look diabolical in a way. So I felt like he can definitely portray a very calculating villain, much like Naraku. Plus, again, going back to the photo, I mean, has it on point. So yeah. Tell me down in the comments below what you think of my fan casting. Do you have any other actors or actresses that you would want to slate for this particular fan casting, or any other roles that I did not mention? Just tell me down in the comments below. For my Yashahime video, I will be linking that somewhere here as well. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel and you would want to hear more from me, please hit subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you again soon in a new one.